Louisiana beer reviews. Sterkens White Ale. Sterkens White Ale is produced in the Kingdom of Belgium. This is an 11.2 ounce bottle, 4.7% alcohol. Sterkens Brewery was established in 1651. There wasn't even a Belgium in 1651. What was in existence in 1651? The the Países Bajos Españoles, the Spanish Low Countries, or as we say in English, the Spanish Netherlands. Países, the countries, Países, Bajos, Low, Españoles, Spanish, within the Heiliges Römisches Reich, the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. So Belgium was considered part of the First Reich, the First German Empire, which lasted from the time of Charlemagne in the year 800, when he was crowned Roman Emperor by the Pope, until Napoleon started all his invasions and the empire was dissolved in 1806. The Spanish, however, lost control of that area after the War of the Spanish Succession. In 1713, a lot of smoke here. And as part of the settlement, the Spanish were forced to turn that area over to the Austrian Habsburgs in 1713, and they controlled it until the French invaded in the 1790s under Napoleon, and that was the end of that. Okay, that's right, Austria, way over there in the central eastern part of Europe, or east central, I'm sorry, controlled Belgium, and Luxembourg, the Netherlands way on the other side, next to the ocean. Okay, anyway, thick white head and a hazy, as you would imagine, wheat beer, yellow golden color, yeah, with a lot of streaming bubbles. Typical wheat beer. Okay, crackling like mad. Okay, weird thing about this beer, the Beer and Me says it's very fine, and then Beer Advocate saying very good, and the Bros say outstanding, their second highest score. Apparently there's a American-made version made by Ommegang, and that's on Rate Beer, and they have their scores. And they're both listed at 4.7, so maybe it's the same recipe, but I couldn't get a handle on that. Ommegang's not talking about it, so I figured on the safe side I just wouldn't, look at all this stuff at the bottom, bring that up, the Rate Beer thing. I bought this at Aquista Paces in Covington, Louisiana. Okay. Now the aroma, of course it's bready. Maybe there's a slight citrus, maybe. It's mostly just some dank white bread. It's kind of hard to pin down this aroma. It's in your nose pungent. It smells good though. There's nothing off about it. The guy on the Beer and Me was saying it smelled, or reading a review, and he said it smelled off to him. He could have had an old bottle. I don't know how old this bottle is. I see no date. Okay, I'm going to try to get that cake stuff off the bottom. It's really caked on there. I don't know if I'll be able to. The aroma, the flavor. Here at 8:25 a.m. It's got some spice to it. It's mild, but Think of some spicy yeast, a little citrus. Of course, it's going to have sweet white bread. There may be a touch of coriander added to it, or just that coming from the yeast. I'm not really picking up that banana that you'll get often with wheat ales, but there could be a shade of it. Most wheat ales I find are kind of bland, and watery, and you'll pick up what I think is a tap water flavor. And I'm getting some of that here. This is not as bland as some of them can be. I don't like to pair wheat ales with food because I find it throws off the taste of the food, especially those really rich banana ones with the rich yeast banana flavor. I mean to say, this is nice for a style I'm not thrilled with. It's nice. I'd like to try some other Sterkens beers. They don't even show this. Oh, it did come, well, sort of came loose. I'm going to have to let the little bit run to the bottom and shake it later. They didn't talk about this beer on their web. Oh yeah, it clouded up a lot. You could see probably that yeast cloud. They didn't really talk. They don't talk. Oh, and there's some little brown chunks. They don't talk about this beer on their website, but they produce it. Says it on the bottle. That yeast is richer, it's spicier, and more banana when you pour it in, so it adds to it. I think it's very good. Not excellent or anything, but very good. It's a B+. If you see it for a decent price, and I don't think I paid too much for it, maybe $1 or something, so I wouldn't pay too much, but it's worth checking out if you like the style. Even if you don't like the style, it's worth saying, okay, I checked it out, it's okay. So I would say it's very good for what it is. Here's an artifact, but like I said, I ran out of artifacts. Here's a book, The Federalist. Now, The Federalist is not really a book. It was a bunch of newspaper articles written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison from Virginia. Alexander Hamilton from the British West Indies became an American citizen, started the U.S. Department of the Treasury, the Bank of the U.S., which was discontinued later on. Then you had John Jay, I believe he was from New York, and there was a big controversy when they were adopting the U.S. Constitution in 1787. Some people said it's too dangerous, it's making too strong of a national government, and I think you could probably see that today. The anti-federalists were saying, why don't we just keep the Articles of Confederation, the Union of Independent States? It's only been around a few years. How can we say it's not working? It only was adopted in 1781. But anyway, the Federalists won out. They had a lot of arguments, and that's what this book is about. They took all the articles and they put them together in a book, and they're saying basically this. This is from 1945. This particular volume. It's in good shape. I bought it very cheaply, maybe 50 cents or $1. But they're saying the way they present it, they have the argument of why you shouldn't adopt the Constitution. And then they'll have the counter argument, their argument, no, this is why you should. And it goes back and forth the whole book, and the series of articles. And it's very interesting. They don't teach this too much in school today, and I can see why. Because they have one part where they say, no, what if the U.S. government, the new Constitution, the U.S. government under this new setup starts to violate the rights of the states and do things that they shouldn't do? And then Alexander Hamilton's argument was, oh, well, this is no big deal, because you could just declare the law, the state could declare the law unconstitutional, and if they persisted in doing wrong, the state could just take up arms and overthrow the the government, like we did with the British. So, and the southern states being real big into scholarly examinations of the Constitution and taking the Constitution literally and taking these arguments literally, we know that's what happened. In 1860, South Carolina said, okay, we'll take this advice. We, in our opinion, think that the U.S. government has overstepped its bounds or is going to, but whatever, we don't want to be associated with it. So what they did was they said, okay, we're going to do like Alexander Hamilton. We're going to repeal, and this is what happened, South Carolina repealed their ratification of the Constitution, withdrawn from the Union, and said that connection is dissolved between us. And then 10 other states over the next few months also repealed that. Basically, the Constitution was a treaty between the states, so we repeal that. And we know what happened then. The people that said, no, they'll be an empire and they'll attack you and they won't let you leave. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. And so that's what happened. So it's very interesting, and it is kind of it's very interesting that this is not taught too much, because if you would follow the advice of the Federalists, you might have a Confederate States of America viewpoint in the legal viewpoint of it. Anyway, enough examination of civics. The beer is very good. So laissez les bon temps rouler. The beer is very good. This is very good. I beg you to read it. Get to read one chapter a day. And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to sunny and warm southeastern Louisiana.